Okay, so I kind of hate being an adult. This sucks. If you're under the age of 18 and you're saying, quote, I want to be 18 already, I want to be an adult. No, you do not. Do you know how bad it is to be in your 20s and already have back problems? Let's talk about my experiences being a grown-up. I started working when I was 15 years old. My very first job was at a grocery store, just bagging. And I was making around $5 an hour. I eventually got fired, but that's gonna be for another video. My paychecks were about $200-ish every 2 weeks, so all I did was blow it on V-Bucks. My second job was at a Subway next to my school. I used to work on closing shift, and I got fired for just eating too much. Later on, I got a job with my friend Ari. Y'all know him from the last video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. We work at this gas station chain called Quick Trip. There's so many fun stories to tell about that place, but that's again for another video. Fast forward a little bit, I turned 18 and I started working at Amazon. And let me tell you, that place is like my toxic relationship with my ex. I keep coming back. The schedule was kind of rough. We used to get there at 1:20 a.m. and leave at 11:50. So a whole 10-hour shift walking around moving boxes. One night, talking to my friends on Discord, my friend told me, how about you come here to Las Vegas and start from scratch? I'll give you a hand. I didn't have anything to lose, so we did it. And yes, he's the Seth that bought us the share from the last video. Go watch it. He comes to Georgia a couple weeks after, and we drove from Georgia to Vegas. It was around 30-something hour drive. And just 1 hour away, I get pulled over because I was spitting. It was a construction zone, and you were supposed to go 55. I guess I never saw the sign and I was going 80. I stayed in Vegas for around 2 to 3 months, and let me tell you, it was so bad. I wasn't able to find a stable job and all the bills were piling up. I was very desperate, so I had to come up with a plan. I wasn't going to go back to Georgia, and I had a friend living in Utah, which is around 5 hours away from Vegas, so I decided to give it a shot. I went to Utah and I stayed in a hotel for like a week so I can get to know the city and all my surroundings. One morning, I decided to go to this bakery called Neater's. If you've never been there, which I think you haven't because they're only in Utah, they have one of the best turkey sandwiches I've ever tried in my life. Anyways, the cashier was a bit nervous when it was time to pay. She was very cute, so I decided to make a move. She ended up giving me her Snapchat. And keep this girl in mind. I'm not gonna say her real name, but we're gonna call her Madison. I'm not gonna get into too many details with Madison now, but I will on a video which it's probably gonna be divided in 2 parts. Yes, the tea is that good. From here, the story is gonna have a big gap. Most of it has to deal with Madison. Basically, I lost everything, even majority of my clothes. I ended up going back to Georgia with my friend Ari. What's up, Ari? And stayed there for a few months. It was rough at first. I was working on the Walmart auto shop, and most of the time I had to walk back home, and it was almost 3 miles. I didn't even have phone service. This was my pure downfall. But it gets worse. A few months later, I went to Miami because I got promised a construction job. They mentioned a really good pay, so I gave it a shot. I ended up basically homeless in Florida for around a month, living off these guys. I wanted to leave Florida so bad. It wasn't terrible, but I met a bunch of interesting people. I got a car there too, a 2011 Ford Mustang with close to 200 miles. Yeah, not the best decision, but it was all I had. I decided to go back to Georgia after that to basically start over there. When I got to Georgia, the car was completely fucked. The whole transmission was blown and it went on limp mode, meaning it wouldn't move at all. I had to pay a tow truck to take it back to Miami, and it was like $800. And at that moment, I felt like everything was hating me. I ended up connecting with Madison again, and guess what? He ended up going back to Utah because of her. Yes, I know, I do not learn. Let me tell you, it wasn't great. The same thing happened again, and I ended up in Georgia again. And guess what? I went to Florida again. After the second time in Florida, I go back to Georgia and started working as a mechanic at Ford. It was very fun, but I was completely getting ripped off with the pay. I was making $14 an hour as a mechanic when McDonald's could easily pay more than that. I ended up leaving Ford to look for something else. I wasn't able to find a job. I'm sure most of you guys know the hurricanes that happened around September-ish, I think. Well, I was in the part of Georgia where the hurricane fucked up the whole town, and I had no power for over a week. I didn't know what else to do, so I came back to Utah around October last year. And I've been great since then, And that's when I decided to make YouTube videos. And here I am talking to people I don't know about my life. I want to thank the few of you that watch my videos. It really motivates me to keep going. So, what did we learn today? That you do not want to be an adult. Enjoy being young.